Housing prices in both Dallas and Collin counties are continuing to climb as we officially head into the spring market. And median days on market in both counties have experienced big declines 2 weeks in a row. We also saw another very big 7% increase in the number of people applying for mortgages this week. And this actually makes for 6 consecutive weeks of positive growth year over year. Overall, national housing inventory is climbing, but new listings are really what's leading that growth, with nearly 9,000 more people listing their homes this week than last week. So there is a ton of evidence that the market is heating up right on time, just like it does every year, and we can expect that to continue from here until about June. We're covering all this and much more in this week's market update. My name is Michael. I'm a real estate agent here in the Dallas area, and every Monday I give you a weekly update covering all of Dallas and Collin counties as well as the national market. We're looking for trends, we're tracking mortgage rates as well as mortgage purchase applications, as it's our best leading indicator to what demand will look like 30 to 90 days from now. We'll be looking at things like median list price, days on market, how many homes are having price decreases, what's inventory looking like, and if you stick around until the end, it's my favorite part, the top 10 ranked hottest and coolest cities and zip codes in all of Dallas and Collin counties. If this sounds like something you're into, make sure and hit the subscribe button. And if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, whether it's next week or next year, I'd love to connect. I've helped every one of these yellow dots find their little piece of Texas, and I'd love to help you too. Just call, text, or shoot me an email. All that info is in the description below. Okay, today is March 17th. Let's see what the data is telling us. And if this is an old video, you can click the playlist here to get to the latest weekly market update. Normally we start with market news, but I'm very short on time this week and not much happened, so we're gonna skip it and dive right into the data. We always start with the national data, and we are starting with national housing inventory. This week we had an increase of 13,267 more homes available for sale in the country. That keeps us right at 28% more inventory than we had last year, to a total of 655,626 homes available for sale in the country right now. This same week last year, inventory was only at 507,160 homes. So we've got way more inventory than last year, which is great. Then for reference, the all-time inventory bottom in 2022, we only had 240,000 homes for sale. At the peak of last year, we had 739,000 homes for sale. For reference, this same week in 2015, we had about 982,000 homes for sale. So you can see we're still kind of in the middle ground from the COVID years and heading back up to a normal market. Every single year we've been getting more and more and more inventory. So a couple more years, we should be back to normal inventory. Now looking at new listings, as you can see, this dark red line, we were having way more new listings these last couple of weeks. We started out the year tracking kind of closely to last year, just having a few weeks above here and there. But as you can see, these last 2 weeks, we've really blown all of the previous 3 years out of the water with our new listings, which is great. And this week we had a total of 68,191 homes listed in the country. So that's a jump of 4,333 more listings than last week and 8,649 more than last year. So that's great news. More and more people are listing, which means more inventory for you to choose from and less chance of prices running straight up once rates finally do drop again. Now looking at pending sales, this week we still have 3% fewer sales pending than we did last year nationally. That's this dark red versus this bright red. And you can see most of the year we've really been tracking right on with 2023's numbers. Of course, Dallas and Collin counties still have way more pending sales because we are the #1 fastest growing metro in the country, and we'll look at those here in a minute. But nationally, sales are still down about 3%. But overall, as you can see, this number will continue trending up until about May or June. And this week we have 333,385 homes pending or under contract, which is about 4,300 more than we had last week. Then the last thing we cover nationally is the percentage of homes having price decreases every week. Every year it's normal for a third of homes to take a price cut before selling. Looking at the national chart, we had a small increase, tiny, up to 33.96. I believe it was like 33.7 last week, but last year we got as high as 39.9%. The year before we got as high as 39.2%. And then in 2022 we got as high as 43.2%. All you need to know is if you want home prices to come down, this number will need to be going up, as well as I don't want you to think just because this started higher than normal or started increasing earlier than the previous years, that means it has to end up higher. As you can see, these all ran at totally different slopes, starting at totally different times of the year, but at least 23 and 24, they both ended up in the 39%. So we're really just watching this to see, is it gonna start running up hard and will that lead to price decreases? But there's nothing to worry about there yet. Okay, moving on to mortgage rates. We started out at a 6.72 and we ended up at a 6.81, not a huge swing. The important thing to know here is that we are still 0.21% below where we were a year ago. So last year on the same day, we were at 7.02. Now we're at 6.81. So it may not feel like rates have come down much, but they have come down a full 0.21% from last year. And then regarding mortgage purchase applications, as I said in the intro, we saw a 7% increase week over week in the number of people applying for mortgages. But I've been saying for more than a year now, and I still believe it, there's no reason to believe mortgage demand is going to grow significantly. And by that, I mean even, it should be way up here normally. There should be a lot more people. We're still at record lows of sales, record low demand for people applying for mortgages. So you have to remember when you hear a 7% jump, this is working off of record lows as well, so the numbers can get skewed really hard. But the point is, this is still very suppressed home buyer demand. And we're not going to get back to normal demand until rates get and stay below 6% for a sustained period of time. The evidence we have of that is new construction has been offering below 6% for a long time, and they've been selling much more efficiently than pre-owned homes. So we definitely have more demand than last year. We're nowhere near a normal market and won't be probably until we get below 6% rates. Okay, now we're moving on to the local markets, starting with the MLS data of Dallas County. This week we had 700 new listings. This is the most that we've had by far. That's 44 more than we had last week. And I don't remember the last time I saw 700 new listings in a week. So we are tracking right along with the national market, seeing more and more new listings. We had 275 closings, which is 42 less than last week. But remember, if you go back, this may coincide with a holiday week or something. These are lagging about a month. These homes would have contracted a month ago. So then we had 63 immediate sales, meaning they contracted within the first week, and that was 2 less than we saw last week. Total contracts, we had 322. That's just 1 less than last week. And you can see actually the last 3 weeks, we've been right around about 320 new contracts every week in Dallas County. And then in total, there are 2,195 homes either under contract or in pending status. That's 81 more than we had last week. Now moving on to Collin County, we had 538 new listings, which is actually 28 less than last week, but still a lot of listings. We had 239 closings, which is 16 more than last week, 45 immediate sales, that's 2 more than last week, 225 new contracts, that's 25 more than last week. In total, we have 1,887 homes either under contract or pending, that's 55 more than last week. Now we're moving on to the Market Action Index. If you've never seen it, it takes into account all of this data, puts it into one easy to read graphic with a number. Anything at 30 or below is a buyer's market. Above a 30, we're asking how much of a seller's market are we in? And all we really use this data for is to say, is the market looking normal, or is there anything weird we should be concerned about? What should be happening this time of the year? We are just now beginning the spring market. Things should be heating up from now until about June. So looking at Dallas County, you can see the Market Action Index has been heating up really, I guess, since November, December. So that is unusual. We've talked about that every week, but it has been heating up ever since. This week, we did have a small decline, which again, it doesn't have to go up every week to still be heating up. You can see it reflected. The median list price is continuing to climb. Median price of new listings as well climbed this week. Average days on market are dropping, and median is having a fast drop. So we were at 77 just on February 14th. Even last week we were at 63, now we're down to 56, so things are selling quicker and quicker. I personally am running into a lot more multiple offer scenarios just within the last week or two. But again, all of those things are normal for this type of year. If you see a great house, it's probably gonna go quickly. Inventory is steadily climbing, pretty much on pace with the national market. So that's all of Dallas County, everything's looking normal. There's plenty of evidence that things are heating up. Now moving on to Collin County, same thing. Collin County is only a 36 though, whereas Dallas is a 38, and Collin County did take longer. Collin County has been much more of a normal market cycle, whereas it didn't start heating up since November, December. It started, kind of found a bottom, end of January. End of January, early February is a normal bottom for normal market. So Collin County has been looking at a lot more normal, as well as the same thing happened for their housing prices. They didn't bottom until about mid-February. They've been climbing ever since. We're up to just about 540,000 on the median list price. Median price of new listings as well is 555. Yes, that is the highest they've been since November 29th. So these prices finally broke out. And again, this is normal. If you want to wait to move in the summer, you're going to pay the most for your house. That's just the normal market cycle because there's too much demand because too many people decide they want to move in the summer. The trade-off though is you should have a lot more houses to choose from. So yes, you're paying a higher price, you might be getting a nicer house. As you can see, their average days on market dropping quickly, as well as the median. The last 2 weeks, we were at 63 2 weeks ago, then 56, and now 49. So dropping pretty quickly, things things are selling faster everywhere because there's more buyers coming into the market. Their inventory is having a nice climb as well. Collin County all of last year was pretty slow on its inventory growth, so it would be really nice to see some good growth this year. But that's looking good the last couple weeks. 4,079 homes available. And then of course their market action index, just a nice, slow, steady growth. So everything is looking really good and normal. That's all there is to it. Now we're moving on, just looking at the pending sales very quickly for both. All I want to really show you is that the dark line here, obviously you can see we have more sales pending in Dallas County than either of the previous 2 years. That's normal because we are a growing market. And then Collin County is always insanely higher because it's actually the #2 fastest growing county by number of people in the entire country. We have 1,768 homes pending, whereas last year we only had 1,332 this week. So big growth in Collin County, but I just want to show that because remember the national market is down 3%. Both Dallas and Collin counties are up. All right, now moving on to the top 10 ranked hottest and coolest cities and zip codes in all of Dallas and Collin counties. These are ranked using that same market action index number. And actually the hottest cities saw almost no change. So yeah, they remained. Carrollton, Texas, the hottest at a 49.38, followed by Louisville, Coppell, Plano, Grapevine, Richardson, and Grand Prairie. None of these changed spots. The only difference is number 8 was Ferris last week, and Sachse jumped on at number 8 this week to replace it. And then Allen and Irving both remained at 9 and 10. So only one change on the list. Ferris fell off and Sachse jumped on right at the number 8 spot. Then we like to zoom into specific zip codes. The absolute hottest is Plano, Texas, 75093 at a 55.16. That's pretty hot considering 30 or below is a buyer's market. Followed by Carrollton 75007, Grand Prairie 75052, Carrollton 75006, Plano 75025, Louisville 75067, Plano 75023, Coppell 75019, Richardson 75080, and Louisville 75077. So if you have a house in one of these zip codes, you should be able to sell for top dollar quickly. Now we're moving on to the coolest cities and zip codes. The absolute coolest remains and has been for as long as I can remember, Blue Ridge, Texas. It is the only remaining buyer's market. There's been some times where we had 3 or 4, but now everything is above a 30 except Blue Ridge. So Blue Ridge is the coolest, and then Leonard cools off 1, Royce City cools off 1, Van Alstyne cools off 1, Lavon heats up 3, Rockwall cools off 1, Sunnyvale heats up 1, Salina remains at number 8, and then Farmersville and Prosper both jump onto the list at 9 and 10, and then Nevada and Anna, which were 9 and 10 last week, heated up off the coolest cities list. Then looking at specific zip codes, and you can see we only had 1 city that was a buyer's market. We actually have 3 zip codes that are buyer's markets, but the absolute coolest is Grand Prairie, 75054, followed by Rockwall, 75032, Blue Ridge, 75424. Those are our 3 buyers markets, followed by Leonard, 75452, Royce City, 75189, Van Alstyne, 75495, Lavon, 75166, Duncan, 75116, Sunnyvale, 75182, and Salina, 75009. All right, well, there is your much shorter than normal market update. It's just things have gotten too busy, so I ran out of time today. But as always, if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, just call, text, or shoot me an email. All that info is in the description below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.